The lights, okay. Hello everyone, I'm really excited, happy, honored, and a little bit nervous to be right here in this square in front of you speaking. Thank you, Adrian, for the introduction. I've always said that I really love the Ruby community, its vibrance and how welcoming and friendly everyone is, so it's an honor to be here today. A couple of words about me. My name is Gabriela, I come from Bulgaria. I hold a bachelor's degree in computer science, and I've been working with Ruby and Rails for the past 8 years at Tutuf, where we are building the software for an online store. And also, I am deeply committed to the Rails Girls Software organization, starting at 2015 as a volunteer mentor, and now being part of the team as a host and a co-organizer. Another thing that I really like to do, and I started doing it this year, is crocheting. So I've done some crochet pins inspired by the Friendly.rb logo, and I have some left. So if anyone wants to get some, just come after the talk. I'd be happy to give away them to you. Thank you. Now, about the talk, maybe you already know, but I've titled my talk, The Power of We, Unleashing the Collective Strength of Your Team. And today, actually, I want to share with you a story, the story of me and my own team journey towards improving our team. And why I want to talk about this at all, because I truly believe that consciously working towards improving your team, nourishing your team environment is as important as updating your gems regularly or maintaining a test coverage of 90%, for example. And I'm confident enough that if you manage to build a strong team, a team that works really good together, you can excel in any field you like. Even if, for example, the internet dies tomorrow, I believe that you can find a job together as a team in any other field. So like I said, I want to share with you a story, so let's get you on track. The last couple of years with the COVID pandemic and all, we were all sent back home, working remotely, and at first it was all good. Like we didn't have to spend time commuting to work, we were extra flexible with our working hours, we could do some housework daily. But to be honest, this year, me and my team, we fell into the trap of remote work. And what I mean is that we became somewhat more chaotic. We didn't communicate effectively enough. I myself felt lonely and working in isolation every now and then. I really missed this feeling of really being part of a team. And don't get me wrong, we were still delivering features, and I may say we were still delivering features at high quality, but we felt that we can do more, that we can be more, but something is like stopping us. I should also mention that I really like organizing things. I really like to have a structure, a plan that I can follow. That's why I'm so passionate being part of the Rails Girls team. And also, I work in a really small company. Currently, we are 7 employees with 2 senior developers. And even though I haven't been a team leader myself, working within a small company has granted me with opportunities to support my team leader on occasion. And if I may make a reference to the Office TV series, I may say that I'm assistant team leader, or assistant to the team leader to be exact. So with all of this said, that's why I had a chance to take the initiative and try to do some kind of research and dig in to find what was off with our team. So one day, after I finished with my daily tasks for the day earlier, I decided to take a look at the book that I have purchased a couple of months ago. And this book, it was a turning point for me and for my team. Ever since the book, we've been implementing changes, and I may say that we are already seeing the positive results. So it is this experience that inspired me to have this talk delivered to you today. And I really hope that all of the resources, the tools, the ideas, and the experience I will share with you could be helpful for you too, and that they will also inspire you to embrace a positive change within your own team. So now about the book, because like I said, this was our turning point, and I've dedicated a separate section just for the book, and I really can't recommend enough this book. It is called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. It is written by Patrick Lencioni, and I really recommend reading this book yourself. No matter if you're a team leader or just an employee, I think everyone can benefit from the insights from this book to understand more how team dynamics work and how we can work towards improving them. So today I will share with you which are the 5 dysfunctions, really shortly, and afterwards I will share with you the changes that we've been integrating. So we're starting with an overview of the model. Here you can see the 5 dysfunctions in a pyramid, and at the bottom, these are the foundation dysfunctions. And every dysfunction leads to the next one, going from the bottom to the top. So the first dysfunction, it is the absence of trust. And here we should point out that when you're talking about trust in the context of teamwork, we don't mean I trust enough that you're a really good developer and that you always be at your best, but rather I trust you enough so I can be vulnerable with you. I trust you enough so I can admit I don't know something. I trust you enough so I can share my mistakes. I trust you enough so I can ask for help. And also I trust you enough so I believe that you won't use these vulnerabilities against me in the future. And another thing is that I trust you enough so I believe that everything that you are doing is what you believe is the best for the company, not for yourself, but for the company at the moment. Because otherwise, teammates that lack trust, they can easily jump to conclusions for each other's actions, and they may take things personally, leading to the next dysfunction. And this is the fear of conflict. So basically what happens is that teammates avoid conflict, avoid uncomfortable conversations when their opinion, for example, is different from the group, and they avoid these kind of things because they want to keep the peace. And especially in Bulgaria, I don't know how it is in the other countries, but especially in Bulgaria, this is a common trait. We avoid conflict because we want to keep the peace, and this is something that we carry over in our company culture. And here, I think we should ask ourselves, is peace what we really want for the company? Because this kind of peace may lead to veiled discussions. And as Lencioni said it in the book, and I really like this quote, it may lead to maintaining a state of artificial harmony. So, and we should make a remark that we are not talking about conflict in a way of just shouting and yelling at each other, but rather having passionate debates, open discussions where everyone is being heard. Because at the end of the day, most people don't need for their suggestion to be the final one, to be the final decision, but rather need this feeling of really being heard and really having their suggestion being taken into consideration. Because otherwise, the next function arises, and this is the lack of commitment. So it is pretty simple. If you don't really believe in the final decision that has been made, if you haven't expressed your own thoughts about it, you can hardly buy in and really commit to it. And this can be crucial because then the other dysfunction is present, and this is the avoidance of accountability. What is meant here is that teammates, they hesitate to call peers on actions and behaviors that may seem counterproductive to the good of the team. Now, when I read first about this dysfunction, I was a little bit confused. Like, how can I hold someone from my team accountable for their actions? Like, I'm not their boss, I'm not their team leader. Who am I to make comments about their work? But if you take a second and just think about it, it all makes sense. Because if we trust each other, and we share our vulnerabilities, if we don't have a fear of conflict and we engage in passionate debates, and if we therefore commit to the final decision, then it's the most reasonable thing to hold each other accountable for high standards and to support each other to do the best that we can at the moment. Again, we are not talking about pointing fingers and putting blame on someone, but rather, as I said, supporting team members not to lose sight of the final goal. Because otherwise, we are at the final dysfunction, and this is inattention to results. What is happening here is that teammates start putting their individual needs, like status, ego, or recognition, above the team needs, above the achieving of collective results. With all of this said, even if your team has a single dysfunction, it can lead to the next ones, and it can deteriorate different parts of your team workflow, and teamwork. So what we did, because like I said, this was our turning point. Well, after the book, I did a presentation to my own team. We discussed the dysfunctions, and we did a test that is located at the end of the book. So the test aims to find out what dysfunctions are present within your own team. And every one of us did the test individually, then we shared the results, and we discussed again. So for us, it was pretty obvious that our main dysfunctions were the absence of trust and the fear of conflict. And it came as no surprise, to be honest, because 2 of our colleagues joined us during the pandemic. So we didn't have any time actually working together in person. We didn't have enough time to get to know each other. And in order, the whole team committed to forging deeper relationships among ourselves, aiming to view each other not just as professional colleagues, but just as fellow humans. So what we did, well, after the first test, we did another test. And this is the 16 personalities test. It is quite popular. It is based on the Myers-Briggs model. And it gives you pretty insightful results, both on professional and on personal level. It can give you information about one's interests, weaknesses, strengths. So again, we did the test individually. We shared the results among the group. So it was more easy for us to understand why someone is acting or reacting the way that they are, and just give people the benefit of the doubt, not jumping to conclusions and not taking things personally. Afterwards, we continued with another test, and this was to find out which type of underappreciated software developer each of us was. So again, this gives you insight on one's strengths, weaknesses, interests, but on a more technical level. For example, you may find out if the person likes to search and fix bugs, or if he or she prefers to be on the radar for new technologies, or likes to do non-coding tasks. So this can be especially helpful for team leaders to help them with the task allocations in the future, so everyone is satisfied with the task they're being assigned. After all of this, we decided that we should integrate some changes in our workflow. Because here I should say that previously, we didn't have any dedicated team meetings. And as I said it, I know it sounds crazy, but that were the facts. We had meetings with the client every week, where we saw each other in person, and we paired together in sessions when the task we were working on required so. But really, we didn't have a dedicated day and time of the week to just gather together as a team and discuss team-related topics. So this was the first thing, to establish a routine, and we started being pretty serious about our team meetings, realizing that at the end, we, the team, are of the highest priority. Because sometimes we have put the client first, but we understood that we should work on our team integrity. Also, we improved our daily reports. We have this thing of doing daily asynchronous reports, where everyone is letting the others know what are the tasks of the day, and if he or she needs any help from the other colleagues. So what we did was to add a different type of questions to these daily reports. And these questions really prompted us to, again, talk openly and sincerely about the things happening at the team, so we can tackle this fear of conflict that we had. For example, is there something that made you uncomfortable yesterday? Is there something that a colleague did recently and you found helpful? Are there any red flags that you want to discuss with the team? So all of these things, combined with our dedicated meetings, really encouraged us to have more discussions about team-related issues. Also, we live in the same city, so it's easier for us, and we have dedicated one day of the month to have monthly dinners, again, to have each other gather together in a more informal environment and get to know each other better. We also do retrospections after any big feature to just talk about what went well and what could have gone even better. Afterwards, we continued brainstorming about different team buildings that we could engage in, because we live in the same city, and we always think that it's really easy to gather together, but we haven't actually done it before so often as we want. So we thought of things that could, again, encourage us to work together as a team, but put in a different environment and discuss different kinds of topics. You can see a lot of these things are something like games, because we believe that it is through play that people can easily loosen up and show different parts of their selves. And here I would like to point out something, because I forgot. I'm not saying that you should become best friends with everyone on your team. That is impossible, and it is unnecessary. What I'm trying to say is that if you get the time to get to know a person better, just as a human with their own interests, hobbies, problems, families, it could be much easier to relate to them, to communicate more effectively with them, even if you have some character differences. And I know all of these meetings and gatherings may sound like a lot to someone, But I found this quote from an article by DHH, and I really share his opinion that nothing can replace direct human contact. And we should really put time and invest in gathering our teams in person as often as possible. Now, we wanted also to define our company culture. We wanted to set like some kind of rules on how we want to work and grow together as a company. And here I want to bring up a subject, a topic about company culture, because I've heard a lot of people say that their company is like one big family. And I have always wanted to ask them, what kind of family do you have in mind? Because families can be rather toxic, in my opinion. And I believe that we should be really cautious using this comparison. Because, for example, you may say that we work long hours and we always do overtime because we are a family and you should always be there for your family and you should always deliver more. But I believe there is another part, there is an opposite side of this. And for example, we introduce a 4-day working week during the summer because we are a family and we know that mental health and rest are also really important. So here I want to present another book that I really recommend. It is called It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work. It is written by Jason Friend and DHH. And this book talks about company cultures, building a better working environment. We have stolen some ideas from the book. So again, they make a suggestion that these kind of things like long hours, excessive workload, and lack of sleep have become something to be proud of, but in reality rarely lead to more productivity. And why I share this book back on the family comparison is because I found this quote quite powerful, that the best companies aren't families. They are supporters to the families, they are allies of the families, and they work to provide such work environment and conditions, so when you go back to your real family, you are the best version of yourself. So like I said, we have stolen some ideas from the book, and the next thing we did was filling this template. It is called Ways of Working. We found it on the explain.com's website. I will share a QR code in a second so you can download the template and fill it yourself. So you can see here different sections, again with prompt questions to discuss with your team the ways that you want to communicate, to handle conflict, to provide feedback, and so on. What we did was that we took our time, we didn't rush it, so we filled a section per week, one section per week. We set a timer for 5 to 7 minutes. Everyone answers the prompt questions, the prompt question for the section individually, and after the timer is off, we share the results, and naturally we lead to discussions. Again, we used filling this template as an exercise to communicate better and to overcome this fear of conflict that we had. And it worked out pretty well. For some sections, we really quickly arrived to the final decisions. On other sections, we were having pretty passionate debates. Even sometimes the team leader had the last word. But all of this really showed us that we shouldn't be afraid of conflict. And after these meetings, even the most heated ones, we were really satisfied with the results because we saw that everyone is being heard, that we appreciate each other's opinion, and we really get the decisions together. So to sum up, I believe that if you really want to enhance your teamwork, you should take a look at the first book, The 5 Dysfunctions, to identify and to work cautiously towards overcoming the dysfunctions present in your own team. I really recommend doing team meetups as often as possible, like more formal and more informal, so you can get to know each other not just as colleagues, but as some kind of friends. Work consciously on effective communication. Don't be afraid of debates. And I think really defining a company culture can also help you, so everyone on the team is on the right track and knows what to expect from the company in different situations. And I will finish again with a quote from the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. I know all of this sounds simple. I know it isn't some rocket science. We haven't discovered anything new. But I believe we should talk about these topics. And I believe that we should remind ourselves how important our team is and to look always for ways to improve it. So, thank you.